Welcome to Talkin VAWLS, episode number 79, Basketballs edition. We're brought to you by the Outright Geekery Podcast Network at outrightgeekery.com. Also, we're currently live on YouTube, courtesy of the S&B Network. Make sure you go ahead and smash that like button and share out the link. My name is Vols JP.
I'm Dobber. What's happening?
What is up in Volunteer Nation land? Basketball has hit a wall, is all I can say. It is getting ugly in basketball land in Knoxville, Tennessee. The Vols had a Big Ten team come in. Wisconsin, I think, was 6-4, something like that. Had not been very impressive at all this year. And Tennessee absolutely got lambasted yesterday. Lost by 20 points. Wasn't even competitive. This basketball team continues to struggle shooting the ball, and not for sure where any kind of help is going to come from at this stage, especially with the big loss of Lamonte Turner, who's shutting it down and ending his career due to shoulder issues. So what are we talking about, Dobber? What's your take? What's your concerns? They're already screaming for Rick Barnes.
Oh, no. I said at the beginning of the season that this is going to be a transition season. You lose four guys to the NBA and expect to have the same success you had last season. Not going to happen. This is a young team. Right now, they're struggling to find their identity. You're looking at a team that likely went into the preseason and this season anticipating to have Euros. They're in the middle, big 7-footer locking it down for us defensively, really kind of changing the way they play offensively as well. And, everybody knows by now the NCAA did not clear him. And I think actually the second appeal, that it did not go through either. So, that was kind of a thing that threw a wrench in the works prior to the season even starting. And then we had Kent leave the team for personal reasons, which, he wouldn't have been a starter, probably not a big contributor, but that does hurt and affect the depth of the team. And it also affects the scout team. And then, of course, losing Lamonte Turner. You're talking one of the senior leaders from this team. You're talking about the guy who has historically on this team been the one to step up and take those late game big shots. You're talking about one of the few almost instant offensive threats that this team has. Right now, I don't know who they look to score.
I don't either.
And Barnes kind of downplayed Turner's loss a little bit. He said this team has struggled offensively this season, even with Turner in there, which he is true. The team has kind of ebbed and flowed. They've had games where they've shot the ball well, but they've had games where they've not shot well, and it showed. And it's been those games they've lost. But Saturday, man, it looked like a completely different team. There were times where they looked confused. And Barnes talked about apprehensiveness, being tentative with shots, being hesitant. Of course, you've got guys learning new positions. Wayne Shelton brings up Bowden cannot carry us, and that's the truth. It can't.
He's a role player.
It can't be on one person's shoulders. And I said it from the get-go. If this team struggles to shoot the ball, especially open shots, and you look at free throws yesterday, they shot 50% on their free throws. Those are points when nobody is guarding you. You got to be way up over 50% shooting your free throws, and that's, I mean, just overall shooting. I think Barnes kind of got into the 3-point deal. He said something like, I don't mind us shooting 3-pointers, but we need to know where they're going to come from instead of, basically just running down the court and jacking up a shot. He wants the ball worked around and move the ball to run the offense and get an open shot instead of just, but I mean,
There's just nobody that's just found their groove yet this
right.
year. I mean,
Well, we've talked
we've had some open looks, and
the
they're just not going in. Bowden's shot has been off. Of course, Turner before he went out with the injury. Obviously his shot was off, but we just don't have anybody stepping up. And I see, the comments in there. There's just not a leader on this team right now.
yeah.
Bowden,
He
last
is
year,
he's always been quiet though.
yeah,
Bowden's kind of
yeah,
deferred, and now he's the guy. I mean, he's got
yeah.
to step up. I think you'll see Josiah James kind of be pushed into a leadership role, and we'll have to see if the heralded freshman is uh, on task enough to accept that, because I mean, you look at who else is out there. I mean, who is going to step up and be a leader on the court?
Well, outside of Bowden and Fulkerson, you would think that it's going to have to be somebody like James
Yeah,
that steps up. One of these freshmen, him or Gaines.
yeah. Well, and that's
I think Gaines is probably going to obviously get some more playing time.
Gaines
Um,
has an incredible opportunity in front of him.
yeah.
It's whether he can take advantage of it. The thing is, though, I mean, we're talking about a team right now that has 8 scholarship players available.
Hmm.
4 of them are freshmen.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it's
It's tough.
yeah,
It's tough, but I think that's what some vocal people are upset about is yes, Barnes is starting to recruit, but I think that we're starting to see the last couple of years some of these kids that he's brought in just seems like that they haven't taken off like um, Jalen Johnson. Obviously that
right.
he struggled, and of course he brought that Zach Ken in, and of course we we signed Burns there 2 years ago, and of course he ended up basically redshirting last year, and then he ends up leaving the team. So, and then like you said, without getting Euros cleared, that just absolutely just killed them as far as any kind of size goes. Outside of Fulkerson, who you have to give Fulkerson credit. He plays hard. He's
Oh
always
yeah,
active. He's always going for it. Is he the most athletic kid? Certainly not. He struggles when he kind of tries to do the one-on-one and kind of dribbling and stuff like that. He's prone to turn it over so the fact of the matter is, this basketball team lost four players, 3 of them which are in the NBA, and the other one is in the G League. So
yeah.
all kinds of talent and production that was gone. And I think that when we started out the season and we went up to Toronto and we beat Washington, I think that got everybody thinking, oh, this team's going to pick right back up, and obviously we see now that that's not going to be the case. 8-4 now.
Well,
Season conference play starts next Saturday against LSU. Who if you look at the SEC, there's some winnable basketball games there, but some of these players are going to have to step up. Gaines is going to step up. Uh, James is going to have to start, showing what his skill set is for what got him a parade All-American and a 5-star recruit.
Absolutely. But
And then
you look
and
at
then
James.
Bowden is going to have to settle down and get in a groove and start consistently scoring 15 to 16 points a game, or I mean, we're going to struggle against anybody that's any good at all to even hit 50 points. I mean, just like yesterday.
Yeah.
I mean, 48 points in a basketball game. I mean, it's just crazy. But
you talk about James. He didn't score his first basket until the 7-minute media timeout in the second half yesterday.
Second half, yeah.
And that's, I don't know if a lot of it is where he's now been moved to the point he's trying to create for others and run the offense through him, but he's got to look for his shot. He's got to not just distribute and create, but he's got to look for his chance. And that's the thing I loved about Bone last year. And he developed as the season went on. He could any given night drop 20 for you.
Oh yeah.
And
we just don't have anybody that could drop 20 in 2 games, I don't think, right now.
Yeah. I mean, last year it was, if Schofield and Williams weren't on, Bone could sense that, and Bone would pick it up. He would penetrate and drive and look for his shot. But man, I just don't know. But like I said, I predicted the beginning of the season transition period for a young team to get to these 5 stars and 4 stars that Barnes has got coming in for next year. Is this the way I saw this season going? Losing Turner and just, man, I don't know. This, and I said it in the video that I dropped, that this is, you cannot understate how big of a loss this is for this team. A team that did not have an identity to begin with, even with Turner on the floor. Now they're just reeling. And like we've said, I don't know who is going to be the offensive scorer on this team. And that's a bad problem to have. It's not because there's 2 or 3 that could go out any night and be that person. It's because, like you said, JP, I don't know that there's one that can take over a game and dominate like that.
Yeah.
It comes down to that, though. I think we shot 33% from 3 points against Wisconsin, and that's actually improved from the
from the last couple of games.
From the last couple of games, yeah. It was 21% in the was it the Cincinnati game?
Yeah.
Man, it just I don't know. But I've seen some comments on here on the live chat. Yeah, Barnes will earn his money this year. I really like Barnes and the way he goes about coaching. And he is going to have a tough go coaching up these kids to get some of those winnable games to go down as wins. Going into the season, I had us not winning an SEC road game. I had us getting right at, I think, 20 wins. I don't know that we see 15 wins now.
Yeah, I'm not sure that we see anything close to 20. I mean, somebody's going to have to start scoring.
Yeah,
they're going to have to start to, and I think Bowden is our best bet there, but I'm just not convinced that he's going to be able to carry this team the way that we need to, and certainly, losing Turner, even though that he was shooting poorly, just his leadership and obviously his ability to make plays, and then on the defensive end too, just a huge loss. I don't know how that Tennessee overcomes that. in order to potentially even make the dance this year. I think it's going to be tough. You know, our best hope is that four of these or these four freshmen that they continue to improve as the season goes on, and you know, maybe this team can make some noise there towards the end of the season. But I think that this is definitely going to be some growing pains, which we're obviously seeing now with this team. And you know, what does this do with the Uruguay kid?
He
He's down there.
he
You know,
arrived Saturday. Came
yeah,
in while the team was having their pregame meal.
yeah.
I read that Barnes said, you know, he arrives at a good time. You know, they've got 7 days off. I prior to Turner's announcement, Barnes
Barnes
said,
was saying
"I
no.
do not
Yeah,
see him playing."
yeah,
After Turner's announcement, I don't see how Barnes can't consider playing him. Um,
yeah.
you
I
know,
don't either. I mean,
well, that's
I think that you at least gotta put him out there and you know, see what he's got. I mean, I know that you're going to be essentially using a year of his eligibility for half of the season, but I mean, if
yeah,
this
but it's the
basketball
conference
team,
season,
I know, and if this basketball team doesn't start scoring and somebody step up and somebody and this offense get out of this funk that they're in, I mean, you know, like you said, just just winning 15 games is going to be extremely hard, and
yeah,
I'm not sure that you even win 15. You know,
yeah,
you might win 3
and
conference games.
and we're already at 8.
Yeah. So, you know, with that. So I think it's going to be tough. So you know, he's kind of the wild card there, which you know, I mean, I think people need to pump the brakes. I mean, I don't think that this kid coming in, you know, in the middle of the season, basically, that we can expect him to just be the you know the missing link that this basketball team needed. But based on his highlights, you'd like to think that he could at least help this team in some capacity.
Right. And even if it's on the scout team, because you know, you look at yesterday, defensively they struggled as well. You know, Wisconsin shot 44% from the field, um, made 11 3-pointers, 7 in the first half. Wisconsin did shoot the ball well, but we didn't defend. We didn't close in on shots. Um, and Barnes did touch on that a little bit in his post game. Was saying, you know, he felt that the team, a few guys particularly, they let their poor shooting impact and carry over to the defensive end. They were still worried about mistakes and missed shots instead of letting it go and focusing on everything else. Um, it's it's going to be, I think, a painful, long couple of months right here to get through this. Um,
Yeah,
unless,
I mean
it,
Barnes is going to take some heat.
yeah,
You know, I mean because he's one of the top 5 paid paid coaches, and
yeah,
you know, I mean no matter how bad that it is, and you know what you're handicapped with as far as the roster goes, um, everybody's going to point the finger at him and say, well, you know, he's the one that developed this roster. He's the one that signed these kids.
yeah,
He's going to take some heat. There's already people that have a sour taste in their mouth with the way that, you know, essentially he even came out and said that if UCLA had ponied up that much money that he was gone. So there's already a lot of fans that feel like that he doesn't want to be there anyway, and the only reason that he is because of the money aspect of it. So he's going to take some heat over this, and you know, I just hope that that this basketball team can, you know, ride this downturn here and we still have conference play. Obviously, starts next Saturday at home against LSU, and I think his basketball team is just going to have to see what happens. I think that this is going to be one of those seasons where this team could come out hot and they could probably beat several good quality teams like we've seen them do this year. But then, like they're currently in this here, if they don't continue to shoot the ball and they're only scoring 40 and 50 and 60 points a game, then it's going to be hard to beat many of the teams that they still have on this on the schedule.
On the flip side, though, that's what we talked about with the game against Memphis. This team isn't built to score 80, 90 points. Even with Turner, they really weren't. They are a team that they're not going to get in a track meet or a shootout. They want to slow it down, run through their offense, and they want to slow the other team down as well. Of course, that how many teams in the SEC are up and down the court, trying to get as many possessions in a game as possible. Most of those they're running half court sets and all that as well. So I don't know. I've said this team's going to struggle without having a true inside presence this season. This team's going to struggle when they don't hit shots, when they don't hit open shots.
Well, now it looks like that we don't have an outside presence to go with the inside presence. So I guess that's why that we're getting beat now and not even being even really competitive.
Well, Wisconsin got up by 28 at one point.
I think so.
And I think that the closest we ever cut it to was 17.
Yeah. It was 14 at half.
Yeah.
I think they was up 20 or 38-24 at halftime. And what was it? It was like it was dang nearly 7 minutes or something before we even scored.
To
start the second half.
We scored 4 points in 10.5 minutes, or at the 10.5 minute mark. We had 4 points in the second half.
Yeah, it's crazy. We got a couple of folks in the live chat. Hillbilly Sportsman, Wayne Shelton, the Dalai Lama's Glasses, Cody Branch, Jason Reynolds. Hey. Cody's asking about the bowl game. Cody, we're going to actually do a bowl game preview tomorrow night right here on the S&B Network with Dobber and Boogie Bentley and myself. So we're going to leave that for tomorrow. Talk about the bowl game matchup.
Full and in depth.
Indiana Hoosiers. It's coming up. That's hard to believe. It just seems like it's just a couple of days ago that we were having that big hoopla over which bowl game of the Vols we're going to. I'm telling you, it just absolutely flies by anymore. But yeah, we're going to have that. What time we doing that tomorrow night? About 8:30 or 9, I think, is when Boogie set that for.
Hold on, I can tell you real quick. Let's see. It is set for tomorrow night at whenever you need your computer to go fast. It doesn't.
Yeah, I know it. It's tomorrow night sometime.
Tomorrow night at 8:30.
At 8:30. That's what I was thinking that we was going to try to do it about 8:30. So we'll get the link out there. I guess it's probably already out there on the S&B Network and YouTube and Facebook and stuff. So everybody certainly join us tomorrow night so we can talk about the football team. They're already down in Jacksonville. I think they got down there yesterday. It looked like they went through first practice. I saw read some stuff about it today. So geared up for that. I'm ready to play some football Thursday night under the lights, Jacksonville. On that.
Yes. Speaking of the football game, if you are in the Tri-Cities area, if you're not in the Tri-Cities area and you want to watch the game with me and Boogie, we will be having a live watch party, meet and greet. we'll be doing a tailgate show from the Model City Tap House in Kingsport, Tennessee.
You want to put that up there, Big or Dobber, so I can.
Yeah.
So we're doing Boogie and Dobber is going to be at the Model City Tap House, 151 East Main Street, Suite number 1 in Kingsport, Tennessee. For the meet and greet, they're going to be going live. At 5 o'clock? Y'all going to do the
live stream the tailgate show at 5. Hanging out after that from about 6 till kickoff, and then we'll watch the game.
That's going to be great. Hope everybody can come out. Those that are local can come out and watch the ball game with Dobber and Boogie. I promise that they won't get into a fight because I won't be there making knee jerk reactions after every play.
Our Christmas dinner was nice and mellow. Everything was good.
We didn't even say anything bad about each other, did we?
No.
The whole time. So, you got anything else basketball wise, Dobber? We'll wrap this up tonight, short and sweet. Again, we'll be live tomorrow on the S&B Network right here on YouTube at 8:30 with the Tennessee Indiana 75th annual Tax Slayer Bowl football game preview.
Now, like I said, I just this team is going to struggle. And they need to find an identity, be it Bowden stepping up and really kind of not pressing, because it seems like he's forcing the issue right now. He needs to be confident and be comfortable in his abilities. We'll see if the midseason addition of Vescovi will have any impact on this team. And really, like I said, you look at some of those other guys, Jalen Johnson, these other guys, they have a tremendous opportunity in front of them. Guys that were role players, limited minutes. You're looking. Devontae Gaines picks up his first career start, but we're going to have somebody step up and not just take over the offensive and defensive presence that we lost with Lamonte Turner, but really that leadership role. And I look for Barnes to really be on these guys. Listen, this is only going to help this team, because it's going to force them to make themselves better. It's going to force them to come together and really rely on each other, because there isn't that standout, superstar. We've not seen that from James yet. He is, a great talent, but Barnes has even said, he's got to adjust to the college game. We've not even seen, just a tip of his abilities and performance on the court. He seems hesitant, and he's looking to wait on his own shot, trying to get others involved. But I'm excited for the rest of the season. I mean, it is going to be kind of up and down, but I want to see what Barnes can do, and I want to watch these guys step up and grow, because you look at the team, not a lot of guys that we will be losing next year, and if this team can grow and kind of take their lumps and get these 2 5-stars that we've got coming in, and I think there's another 4-star. Man, basketball's, you can flip a roster.
Oh yeah,
in a season.
Oh yeah,
it's not like football and the deal that Pruitt is facing with with what he's got and what he was left with when he came into the program.
Yeah.
But it's kind of head scratcher. I mean, it's one of those only at Tennessee things. You know, you have four guys that aren't playing on the team that you kind of expected would be playing, and now you're down to guys that are starting that were supposed to be guys coming off the bench, and it's just crazy. I mean, but we'll see.
Yeah. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens if Rick Barnes can get this basketball team turned around with the LSU Tigers coming into Thompson Bowling Arena next Saturday for the first SEC game of the season. So that's going to do it for tonight, folks. That's going to wrap up the basketballs edition of Talkin Vols. Again, be sure to check us out tomorrow night right here on the S&B Network YouTube live at 8:30 p.m. for the Tax Slayer Bowl pregame show breakdown. The Talkin Vols guys are going to sit around and talk about how our Tennessee Vols are going to manhandle and absolutely destroy the Indiana Hoosiers. For Dobber, I'm Vols JP. Go Vols. We'll see y'all tomorrow night.